Welcome to the Metal Prognosis. My name is Lee. We also have Piper here joining us. And we also have something new that came in the mail. So I thought this would be a really cool idea, because live I've only ever used the Vox Tone Lab for the band Shadows Obey to get all my effects. So what I thought might be a really cool idea, since I started this channel, I've built up a few pedals in my collection that we don't talk about in detail, but I have here a channel switcher. So what I thought might be a really cool idea is, there is one song that Shadows Obey do, which I've done in a few different videos on this channel, called I Can't Save Your Life, where I use a phaser, distortion, and a lead patch. So I thought, let's put this together, see if we can come up with all those three, and I'll jam through the first start of the song that has all those in it. And while I'm jamming it, I'll actually use this to really see if there is any delays or any other issues that might happen in it. Yeah, because I'm keen to see how this goes. I've also never put together a pedal board from scratch, so I got my hands on a pedal board as well. So I'm going to put that together as well on camera and just see how it all works and how it all fits together. So let me go grab the pedal board, go pick some pedals that I want to add to this channel switcher here. What is the company called? Vitoos, I think it is. V-I-T-O-O-S. Vitoos or Vitoos? Regardless, should be lots of fun doing it. So I've picked out a few pedals I want to use for this. So to get my main distortion, which is going to be running through all of them, I've got my Gentonic by Black Cat amps. I've got my Bellcat phaser for my phaser sound that we need for the intro and for the verse. And I've got my lead carbon copy delay by MXR here to get my lead patch happening. And just in case I've got a noise killer, just thinking, I don't know how noisy this is all going to be, so I might have to put that to the tail end. And then what I thought I would do is put it through my Solid Studio here, so we can capture it pretty straightforward and easily through my mixing desk here. Now, before I start setting stuff up, I did notice that on the back here, I'll take a picture so you can all see, on the send and returns, it's got its own power outlets for all of them. So that's really handy. So this pedal here can power all these if need be too. Now I've got my pedal board here in this little bag ready to go. Bit bigger than what I thought, but that's okay. This is all experimental. So I'm really keen to see, this being the first time setting it up, is do I have everything what I need and what little issues and things I'm going to be running into. And one of the things I think I'm going to run into is not having good enough little patch cables to be able to link them all up. But we will find out once I start putting all this together. So enjoy a little background music here while I put this in fast forward mode, because I'm not going to make you sit through all this. And I'll put a timer to it as well, just for shits and giggles, just to see how long it is going to take me. And I'll see if I can figure out on firstly putting all this together and how to patch them all in the best way possible and hooked up to the actual pedal. And then hopefully at the end of it, we'll have a jam and then we'll have some final thoughts on how it all works. So, enjoy. Oh, I ran out of drink. All right, so the board is semi set up. I fell into a few problems, so it's been an eye-opener. But before I run into all those, let's first see that if I got some sound or not, or if I've done something wrong. I have something. That is nice. So that's good. That is something. So before I move into me attempting now to program this Vitoos, or however you pronounce it, I'm going to refill up my tea, and I'm going to read a little bit of the manual to figure it out, to exactly see on how this all works and how this is all done. But at least I know now that it all has power and it all is connecting the right way somehow. But yes, lots of thoughts, things to confess that I didn't realise were going to be problems. There were problems. So let's go back into fast forward mode. And after that, I'll put this on the floor and we'll go into the actual jam. So enjoy more fast forward modes and watching me stumble and stress out a little bit trying to put this all together, because my organisation and OCD in that regards is overflowing with anxiety, because this is shit house. I don't like all the shit everywhere. I'm not all cleaned and not all nice and neat and put together, and it's definitely not. So I have to live with it for this video. So yep, let's battle through it and try to sort this out more. We're at the point now where I'm going to put this on the floor, reset up all the cameras, and let's do a jam of the song I Can't Save Your Life. Not the full song, but just enough of it so we can utilize all three different patches in the one hit. So yeah, sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you on the other side where we can have a bit of a chat about it all. Time for some final thoughts about setting this all up and running through it. So firstly, let's chat about my mistakes I made. So firstly, I don't know where to really start with all the mistakes. I think the biggest one I made was I bought a bunch of these little patch cables, thinking I'm going to need some cables, and I predicted that maybe they might not be long enough. That might be my problem. What I didn't realise was this actual edge was too big, so I couldn't actually put two of these next to each other on this channel switcher here. So I had to use a couple of other type of cables that are a lot longer and thicker and sticking out, which isn't fun. So one thing I'm definitely going to want to invest in is ones with the really thin tips that are pretty cool, so it can actually all fit and be which I think is going to be my main grudge with this, is neater. I want it neater. You get these pedal boards so you can sort out all your pedals so they're not just all over the place, and at the moment it's all over the place. But the purpose of this was to get it working and to see how it all sounds and goes. So the other couple of little, not errors, but more negative things that I came across with this was I didn't think I needed to add my little noise killer here or some sort of noise suppressor. I was wrong with that. Kind of right and wrong. I was right in the regards to when I was using the distortion and the delay, it was fine. There was no problem at all. But when I had the phaser, I hope you can see this as I'm pointing to it, the phaser engaged, there was a lot of, this pedal just gives off a lot of noise that I didn't realise. So if I were to redo this again, I'd probably just want to put this and add it to the chain of just the phaser to clean that up, because the other ones were pretty fine. They didn't really need it at all. Another thing which I kind of found out was an issue too late was my lead patch, because my lead patch is adding delay was all right. The delay was fine, but I really felt like I needed a different type of EQ to break through the mix a little bit better. So what I would do next time is probably add an EQ band. I probably want to get a 6-band one. I don't think I really need a 10, because 10s are pretty big, especially when you're dealing with limited space. But yeah, I definitely want to put this to the chain just for the delay, so adding it before the delay to really help just, as I said, boost up that lead patch a bit, and probably give it a little bit more volume too, because with all these EQ bars, you can push, I mean, this is a bad example because I was using it for a different video. I was using it as a boost, but you could use it just a little bit to help it break through, so when you do change the patch, it does help it come more to life, so to speak. So just before I go into the positive parts about it, because there are more positives than there were negatives, is from my perspective, here's something I prepared earlier. So with Shadows at Bay, this is the main pedal board that I use live. I've only ever used units live, so I used to have a different Vox Tone Lab. I can't remember which one it was, the super crazy big one, and I downgraded to this one because size did actually matter on the stage, because room was scarce, so I didn't want to take up that much space. So I've only ever used this. So this is, in regards to programming stuff, is really simple, and I'm used to approaching it this way. So when I tried this one for the first time today, yeah, that's kind of how I fell into those little issues without realizing it, like just adding a pedal to it, to the overall chain that you're doing here, compared to all the little niggly stuff that I did down there that I didn't actually realize. So now some positive stuff. Firstly, the actual foot unit, which was the highlight of this video that I've hardly spoke about. Programming it in took a little bit to get used to, just figuring out how it wanted me to do it. But once I figured it out, super straightforward and simple. Really, really simple. You go edit, push which sends you want engaged, and then store. And then it stores it on whichever one you choose from there. Super straightforward. Oh, actually, no, sorry. It only stores it on the one that you first originally picked. So let's say you want to do D, you first select D, then go edit. So when you go store, other preset units, it doesn't ask you where you want to store it, it just stores it on whichever one you're mucking around with. So that's very important. With the switcher, you're limited in regards to the chain that you had set up, which I realized while I was setting it up. I was like, oh shit, I need to actually swap these around to make sure that distortion is always first, then phaser, then, or it's either distortion and delay, not the other way around, because the other way around would sound like absolute rubbish. And we're not after that, we're after good, not rubbish. So once I figured that out and realized that, I realized it, switched them around, and that's no problem at all. So you are limited in that regards, but it's no biggie. For the type of, like, this is the maximum amount of effects I've used for Shadows at Bay live. So the basic setup that I normally do use, this is zero problems whatsoever. The latency between pushing a button and the sound coming through, I thought was non-existent. Every time I touch it to change each different save patch, it was immediate. From the point I pushed it to the strum, there was zero delays. I've tried some MIDI pedals before in the past, going into different effect rack units and things like that, trying to figure out ways when I first started playing live how I could utilize them. And there's always a delay, and it drove me mental trying to figure out how to get around that, because you just can't have that live when you're switching from rhythm to lead to whatever other modified patch you have. You can't afford any type of delay whatsoever. So it needs to be spot on. So all those MIDI control foot pedals that I tried in the past never worked for me, which is why I lean towards more the unit that I brought up before. But this is not the case at all. This was super quick, and it was no problem whatsoever, which is really good. Running through the Solid Studio, the Nux Solid Studio is really cool, because all I did is chuck it straight in my mixer, and what you heard is what you got. There was nothing else running through Cubase at all. And the main reason why I got this to start with was not only to practice different types of recording and capturing stuff, but I thought if I did set up something like this could be cool for live, because I could take the feed straight out of this and put it straight into, well, my original concept was to chuck it through a DI box, and then one can go straight front of house, and the other one could go maybe like either to my amp or somewhere else, whether it be probably my inner ears would be where the only other place I really want to send it. But that was my original plan before lockdown happened and all the rest of it, and live gigs seem to be a distant thing of the past at the moment here in my city. But it's really cool that this worked really well at the tail end of it all. So really cool experiment putting it together and seeing how it all worked out. Definitely, these got little clamp things that work. They work pretty decent. Like they're pretty solid. I stuffed up this one because how the power thing is set up, or where it's located. I try to put two on each side, so it kind of got a little bit loose. So if I just chuck this back down there, which means this cable will have to stick up, which is what I was avoiding, purely for cosmetic purposes, nothing actually mechanically. Yeah, that would be as strong as what any of these ones are, because that one moves a little bit, but not too bad. And that one, yeah, not at all. So yeah, these little clamp things work really cool with this pedal board. The fact that this has power running out of it straight into each individual pedal, I think is really cool. It just saves a lot of space, a lot of mucking around, and I have worked with these boards before in regards to helping other people out live, but I've never done it from scratch. And I've seen how they've done it live, or how they've set it up when I've helped with them live, sorry. How they clean up all their cables underneath it with cable ties and whatnot, which is definitely something I would want to do if I want to grow this and try it out live for myself whenever my band gets a chance to legally go out and play live in my city. And yeah, definitely these cables are doing my head in. It's not cool at all how they're just all there. So I definitely need to invest in some smaller, thinner ones so I can put it there and hopefully be able to feed them through so the cables go underneath and keep everything nice and clean and tucked. Yeah, one other thing I will say, it's been a while since I've actually played standing up. So that was heaps of fun to actually stand up with the guitar and play, because all the jams I do on these videos are sitting down. So that was pleasant and fun. And there you go, there's a quick wrap of me putting this together with 3 different patches, storing it together and doing a quick playthrough of this. So I'd be super keen if you could share some of your stories if you've had experience with boards and what problems you kind of walked into, like what I did, approaching this for the first time, what solutions you had, and I'm definitely up for any tips that you have on how to set this up better and all that. Because I remember when I first got this in the mail, this pedal board, I thought, this is a bit big. But now I've actually started to put together, it's like, maybe not. I know if I clean it up better, I'd have more room, but I also feel if I do clean it up a bit and get a bit more room, I might be able to add my vocal pedals on here too and run my mic for vocals as well as guitar. So that might be an idea as well sometime. But definitely keen to hear your little stories too and suggestions on how you can clean it up. Now, yeah, this also came with handles too, which definitely want to add on at some stage too, so it'll be easy just to carry around. And I don't think there's much protection aspect to it because they don't, not sure how they clip on. They clip on like that, it'll give some protection at the top. They do on the bottom, they don't. Either, I'll find out. And I'll experiment more with that later on. But yeah, cool little video, fun little thing putting together, and a lot of swearing, a lot of what the hell have I got myself into, because I haven't got everything that I thought I needed for it. What I predicted didn't quite happen, and other problems did arise, but that's the fun of putting this stuff together and doing it for the first time. So thank you very much for joining me on this little adventurous journey on coming up with trying to create a pedal board that could work for the track that I did. And I thoroughly look forward to chatting with you next time. And until next time, please stay safe.